when we talk about phase E, so you have noticed that here we are not talking about the implementation. We are finalizing the work packages, right? We are in phase E. We are basically before going to the implementation, final implementation plan, everything is happening here, right? So here we are deciding that this will be the optimized solution. Is there any changes required, right? What is the architecture roadmap? All those things, whether we have the stakeholder um, approval agreement, we are having the risk management, right? So once uh, once it is done, then we go to the our final step, which is called the migration planning, which is phase F. Okay. So phase F is the migration planning. So first we develop phase E, then we go to this particular phase F, because until unless we decide that this is our final implementation plan, right? So we cannot go with the migration, right? So that is the decision making. You can say this is decision making for the next set of phases, and this is the one which is basically uh, decide that whether everything is aligned with the business goals, architecture objective, risk management, and project execution. Right? So now that is what I just want to summarize for phase E. Now let us talk about phase F, next phase. Do you have any question till these phases which we have discussed so far?
I think I'm good. I'm not perfect, but I think I have a fair idea as now.
You get a idea, right? Now,
Yes.
if you don't have question, then let me ask a question. What do you
Yeah, go ahead.
think? Who are the um, participants in phase E? What do you think? Who will be the participants in phase E? Means who participate in the different activities?
Well, the solution architects definitely.
Mhm.
Um,
Now, just keep yourself in the phase E. And now
mhm.
consider I'm coming to you and I'm an enterprise architect. I come to you and you are the, the one who will decide everything is on track, everything is as per our business plan, technology and everything. Okay, so I will come to you and I will say um, these are the applications which are basically aligned to these business goals. So it means I'm talking, means I'm referring to which team? Development team. I'm referring to the solution architect team. You correctly said it is solution architect. Business, data, everyone will come into the picture, right? Stakeholders.
Yeah. Okay.
You need to just ask the stakeholder, hey, this is what you approved, right? And this is what we are going to deliver, right? So business stakeholder, enterprise architect, solution architect, development and implementation teams, right? Because those who are going to implement, they need to they need to be the part of this discussion also. So, for example, enterprise architect says that AWS applications or AWS migration will happen on this day, but how he's confirming that from the solution architect, right? And each project is whenever there is a project and there are some sub projects. each project is like development team, right? So maybe you are having the project managers, right? Right? Those who are representing the who are representing the delivery. They are mainly uh, responsible for planning work packages, scheduling the projects, managing the dependencies. So those teams will be there. And technology vendors or those who are, um, means if it is required, we can invite them also, right? For example, technology vendor does not mean the third party. It could be anything like you are using some third party tools, or maybe you have outsourced something to your project, and those are also be the part of this phase E, because they are the one who are basically uh, those are the one who are basically saying that if some issues comes, then how they will handle. For example, I tell you again one scenario. We were using one uh, third party service, which is uh, uh, which is like banks. They are using third party most of the time because they have their IT team, but those IT teams are not for the development. They are just for monitoring or MIS kind of work. So we were having one issue. What was the issue? We were getting some duplicate data, okay, in one of the application. Our project management team, our project manager was there, right? And the project manager was saying, okay, hey Raman, why we are getting multiple alerts? So when I checked the input file which we were receiving, so those were basically itself is having that duplicate data. Okay. So those files are generated by some third party vendor. So we invited that into that call and we asked that why we are getting the duplicate data. Then he has given some reason that our standard tool is having this capability and uh, it cannot convert it into a unique or distinct data. So it means we need to live with that and we need to do some customization from our end, right? So it means that third party vendor involvement was there. So vendors or external partners can be the part of this particular phase E. So there are different teams in the companies like compliance team, risk management team, right? So they are having, like yesterday you were asking about the risk manager, right? So they come under the risk and compliance team. So there's security officers, risk managers, or other teams, those who are basically handling with the compliance and legal activities. All right. So now that is phase E. Let's move to our next phase, which is phase F. Phase F is the migration, migration and migration planning. Now let us see what is the purpose of this. So here, what we are doing, we are preparing a implementation plan. Okay, we will phase F. We are preparing a final implementation plan. Implementation, or you can say migration plan, which is started in phase E. Actually, in the phase E, we are having a draft document for this, but here it will be the final. So it will tell you everything, your baseline, to transition, and to target architecture. Okay. So how it will be converted, what are the coordinated projects and programs, right? What is the priority? What is the sequence? What is the governance of these implementation activities, right? So all those things will be in this phase, right? We are also, so means, from whenever we start our career uh, as a developer, right? So we write these kind of implementation plan. But at that time, we are not aware of everything. Like we need to estimate that how many resources will be uh, participated, right? So resources and what will be the timeline, right, for each activity, uh, time frame you can say, and also we are we are also looking for the total budget which is required to transform this. So this is the estimation. Okay. And again, it's a that everything is aligned with your business priorities, your risk management, organizational capacity for change, right? And whatever project you are dealing with in this, or you are creating the implementation plan, you should have a approval for that. Only the approval projects, approved set of projects, architecture is ready for execution, right? For example, you are in phase C, you are in phase D, right? So there you get some set of approvals. So those approval indicates that these are the approved work packages, right? Also, if required, not actually, not if it is required, stakeholder agreement also, right? So after phase C, after phase F, there is a phase G where we are actually doing the implementation, right? In phase F, we are preparing the implementation plan, but phase G is the one where you are actually implementing. So you need to uh, have a governance handover, which is used in the handover to phase G, right? Right. So now let us see that how we can achieve that. What will be the steps which we need to follow for our migration planning. So step one will be that you need to first uh, assign the business value to your work packages. What does it mean? For example, you are saying after implementation of this component of the architecture, we will get this thing operational in a target architecture. For example, if I say after migrating payroll applications to cloud-based system, right? Or we are having an objective that we need to migrate our applications to the cloud-based environment. But for that, first we need to set up the virtual machine on the cloud-based environment. So in that case, what you can say that on cloud-based environment, account is created and virtual machines has been created. So in that case, uh, next step will be that our applications will be deployed. So these two steps points to our work package, which is the our applications which are to be deployed on the cloud-based environment, right? So so business goal is that my applications to be on the cloud-based environment. And what are the steps? Those things you mention in phase F, right? Likewise, you are having other things which are related to your project. So you assign the business value to your work packages. Now, after that, what you will do, you need to know that, okay, this is which team will work on this, right? And how much time it will take, because you need to prepare the implementation or you need to finalize your implementation. So which team, or you can say which resources, okay, are working, and what will be the timeline for that component which is to be implemented, and what is the delivery mechanism, how it will be, what are the steps, right? So, right. So that is our next step. Now you find out, okay, these are the work packages which are aligned to this value, business value. Now, what will be the sequence? What is the priority of migration of these work packages or projects or solutions? So you need to prioritize prioritize the migration. That could be on the basis of multiple things. It could be on the basis of risk. It could be on the basis of cost. Could be anything. Now you have set the priority also. Now you need to double check that whatever steps we have followed so far, whether it is same defined in architecture roadmap or not, right? So here you need to confirm that means aligned with architecture roadmap. If not, if there is a updation is required in the architecture roadmap, you can do that updation, or whatever the related documents, if you think that we need a update, you can update it and then confirm it. Okay. Right. So now these are the mostly steps which we use. After that, we are having a complete implementation plan, right? All the sequence, whatever the in the migration plan you need, and you can you can make it for the approval. So this is the implementation plan, which is for the approval. Okay. So this is to be approved. Once it is approved, then you are ready for the next phase. Okay. So in that case, you will be ready for that next phase. So these are the basically the steps which we follow whenever we are uh, in phase F. Now, other thing is that after this, we need to go to the implementation in the implement into the next phase. Okay? So, but before that, we need a approval, right? So there is something called implementation governance model. Okay. So what is implementation governance model is? So here actually in the governance model, as the name suggests, that execution of your architecture projects is properly governed, controlled, right? So it is properly governed, controlled, right? And aligned with the with target architecture. So this implementation governance model, it provides a framework for monitoring the progress, any change, compliance during migration, migration and implementation. Okay? So you can see it is a bridge. It's a bridge between phase E, phase F, and phase G. In phase G, we are executing. Okay. In between, we are having this implementation governance model. Right. So basically, what we are doing here, uh, we are just this particular implementation governance model. It defines that how implementation activities are directed and controlled to stay the consistent with the enterprise architecture, right? So so it outlines the roles, responsibilities, decisions, and the governance mechanism for the implementation. So ultimately, it is what it is doing. It is checking the architectural integrity, right? It should be flexible during the execution. So this is one of the model which is basically used. Now, when we are talking about this architecture implementation governance model, right? So here, so so here, uh, there is a structure for this governance model. Okay, what is that structure? So it is having governance principles. Okay. So first thing that it is having the governance governance principles. What are governance principles? So these are the rules and policies to maintain the implementation consistency. Okay, it will ensure the accountability and the transparency of the implementation, right? So there are some rules which are defined, some policies which we need to follow. Then second is governance body. Governance bodies. So your architecture board, which approves the deviations, manages the compliance, your project steering committee, which basically uh, check the project level alignment. There is a change control board, which evaluates the scope or design of the changes, right? So all those, what are those people? Architecture board, right? Project steering committee and the change control board, right? So this is the next governance body, right? Then we have governance processes and controls. So you should have some regular architecture compliance review. You should be very much aware of that whatever we are implementing, it is compliant with the architecture or not, right? What is the change management process? What is the escalation process, right? And then we are having the performance monitoring, risk management. Everything will be covered under this particular process and controls. At the end, we are having a reporting and communication. Reporting and communication. Right. So now uh, you should have a clear channels for status reporting and feedback. You have the integration with program and portfolio management offices, right? So there should be a proper channel for the reporting and communication, right? Now, this particular implementation governance model, it is developed during the phase F only. Okay, this is developed in phase F. Okay, so that we can use in phase G, but it is applied in phase G, defined here, but applied in phase G. All right, and because it is having the change control board also, so here you can see in phase H we are having the architecture change management, right, for continuous improvement. So that is also in phase H it is used. So we are preparing in phase or developed in phase F, but it will be used in or applied or updated in phase G and H. Okay. The main purpose is that we need to maintain the consistencies between the architecture and the actual implementation. And we need to see that what are the risk deviation, and if we can reduce, we can reduce it. Risk deviation is something, uh, maybe something you are going out of track, right? So or maybe you are implementing something, but there is a risk associated with. So, so you want that you should have some mitigation plan for that, right? For your target design. So that also we try to reduce the risk of deviation under this implementation of the governance model, right? So now, do you have any question related to this? All right. So now let us see when we are talking about phase F, where we have discussed about what are the steps we need to follow, right? So let us see what are the core activities which we are doing in phase F. So now you can say core activities or approach. Right. Number one, right. So we need to uh, we need to integrate our architecture roadmap with business planning. Okay. We need to integrate architecture roadmap with business planning. Okay, what does it mean? So you need to align with the organizational strategies, portfolio, or budgeting cycles. Right? You need to validate the business case, timing, and dependencies. Right? So those are the architecture roadmap with the business planning. Now, next is that you need to consolidate. You need to consolidate the deliverables, okay, from the previous phases. Right? So you need to finalize the outputs from phase E, such as architecture roadmap, implementation of migration plan, transition architecture, right? And you need to ensure that consistency is across the domain, right? So like business, application, or technology domain, right? Next activity which we do in this phase, we need to confirm the governance structure. Confirm the governance structure. You need to know that who will do the governance, right? You need to just for your project delivery, you need to prepare the architecture compliance review or decision making checkpoints, right? So you need to establish the oversight mechanism for your project delivery, right? So those are the governance structure. Now at the end, we are having a not end, but yes, finalize the resource planning. Resource planning. So here what you need to do, you need to validate the cost, you need to validate the resources, you need to validate the schedule, right? You need to identify the delivery mechanism, whether internal team, whether some third party vendors, they will be part of this, right? Then next is that you need to have the stakeholder communication, stakeholder communication. So you need to secure the formal approval of the implementation and migration plan, right? And you need to manage those stakeholder expectation regarding their benefits, risk, or timelines. And once everything is done, then what you need to do, you need to transfer these approved project to execution to phase G. Then transfer to phase G. Now phase G is ready for the implementation. Now uh, let us talk about some artifacts. Okay, what are the artifacts? So basically when, in what order, what cost the solution will be implemented, those are called the artifacts. So the artifacts are right. So first artifact is here, updated or refined architecture roadmap. Architecture roadmap. So so that is the time-based implementation work packages, right? So that is the first artifact. Second artifact, your implementation and migration plan. Second is implementation and migration plan, right? Which include schedule, dependency, risk, cost, right? All those things. Then we are having the work packages, or you can say work package metrics, dependency metrics, work package, dependency metrics. It will just show that dependencies between different work packages. Okay. So that it will be make sure that you are following the right sequencing, right? When you are implementing the solution. Then business value assessment metrics. In business value assessment metrics, you are having business value, business risk, business cost, their strategies, right? So those are the business values. So that is also one of the artifact for the phase F. Then we are having, if any update is required for the transition architecture, right? So in definition, so that also will be here, transition architecture, any update is required, right, for the execution. Then uh, we are having different analysis artifacts, risk and impact analysis artifacts, where you will define that what could be the risk during the migration. Okay, and what includes mitigation strategies and the impact analysis, business operation, application operations, right? Technology, people, and processes. Those are the impact analysis, those who will get impacted, right? Like that, these are the main one. Other could be financial, where cost and benefit analysis comes. So this is basically your phase F artifacts. Do you understand phase F properly?
Yes, Raman.
Okay. Now let's discuss that what could be the who will be the participants in phase F. Any idea? So it will be the same, right? In phase E also we are doing the same activity, but here we are finalizing it. So whatever we are having in phase E, those will be in phase F. Okay. So if we talk about the primary participants, okay. So primary participant is enterprise architect because he is owning the architecture roadmap. He's the one who is making sure that architecture vision is aligned with the target architecture. It validates that sequencing and dependencies, right? So our enterprise architect is definitely be the primary participant. So he will be the. Now another participant which is primary is the program manager or portfolio manager. So program or portfolio manager. So uh, whenever we are having the work packages, right? So those work packages always align with some program or portfolio plan. So who will take care of that? This portfolio manager. Right? And we need to make sure that, or this particular portfolio manager, make sure that the timelines and resources are are aligned with that work packages. Plus, whatever the timeline we had given, that is feasible. Okay. So that is why he is also part of this implementation and migration planning. Next, another one is solution architect, right? Solution architect. So now you are saying that we will be using cloud-based storage, whether it is feasible? Yes. So who confirms that? Solution architect. Whether it supports whatever the we have discussed, whatever we are having in transition architecture, everything is supported in production also or in the final or the target architecture. So those things are technology wise, these are confirmed by the solution architect. Another, the primary participant will be the stakeholders, or you can say business stakeholders or sponsors. So what they are doing, they provide the business priority. They will tell that, okay, first our finance team application is to be migrated, then what will be the next and so on. So in that case, your business stakeholders are required. So they are not optional. They approve any sequence based upon the value or urgency. Right. Now, these are the primary ones, which are definitely required. Now, next, so these are the primary participants. Now, when we talk about the supporting participants, so supporting participants are those which may require, for example, solution architect is defining something, but development wise, he is not much sure, right? So he can say, okay, application architect or maybe the technology architect. So they can ask them to join, but mainly the things will be taken care by the solution architect. But whenever there is any deep level or very technology level things are required, he may ask the technology architect to join. So in that case, application architect, technology architect, right? Data architect. So they are the supporting participants. Maybe uh, you need to uh, you need to know that finance, right, and funding part. So this is for implementation, right? When you are implementing at that moment, you may not be talking about the cost, but in the background there is something which is a cost associated with each and every step which you are following in the implementation. So in that case, finance, you can say they are the supporting participants because they review the cost estimate, they will approve the funding, right? So for example, there's there is a timeline and a project is to be completed in that timeline. But if it is not completing, then you need the finance approval also. Okay. So those are the supporting, like compliance team, risk team. So they assess your security and operational risk, and those are the supporting team. Now, next is governance participants. In governance uh, participation, we are having the architecture board. So they review and approve the migration plan. They will make sure that everything is compliant with the architecture standards. So architecture boards are required. Then maybe the IT leadership team. So they will provide the final approval for your um, IT related things, right? Yes, this is aligned with the enterprise strategy or not, right? So on the basis of these, we are having these different roles, okay? Those who participate in phase F, right? So phase F participants includes enterprise architect, program manager, solution architect, business sponsors, governance bodies. Those are basically responsible for the migration, planning, and prioritization. Okay, so this is all about phase F. Now, next phase is phase G, which is the implementation governance, right? So I think uh, that we will discuss tomorrow. But if you have any question related to phase F, please let me know.
Nothing as of now, Raman. Let's wind up.
All right. So what we'll do then we can plan, means because it's a new phase. So that we will discuss in tomorrow's call.
Yeah, that's fine. And Friday I am okay, to have the class.
You will be available on Friday?
I, I'll be available. Yes.
Okay, okay. Then we most probably will finish it on Friday itself.
Sure.
All right. Thank
All
you.
right. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, yeah.